gonna make it.
Right. Okay. Okay, so this is the pre-meeting. And let's go through the agenda. We have Violet's home. Two things which are request to extend previously granted variance and special use permit. This is because they have a 6-month time limit and they've expired. So we're going to, in general, I don't believe we've ever not extended previously voted on and passed things. Nothing has changed. I'm assuming we'll have a public hearing on this. And okay, so do we remember who did this last time? I did, Scott did, Megan did, Kelly, you did?
On the Vilas home?
Violet's home, yes.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, PJ, but we did it before. So is that me or is that? Okay. So we should be all set with the same people, correct? Okay. Is there any questions about that? I mean, it's the same exact thing we saw before. Does anybody have any questions about extending or anything like that? No, okay. The next one is 2215 Nellie Bonneville, Class B area variance to build a small mudroom extending into side yard setback. Did anybody have any questions or look at that? And I'm talking about pre-meeting questions or anything. And
other than the fact that the it's already up, I take it.
yeah, right, Kyle? You're muted, but yes, Daddy, yes, Kyle. You're all muted, Kyle. So
Not sure why, but yeah, it's definitely built.
okay. So who's going to do that? Will we do the 5 of us still? Because actually we're all regular members, correct? So it wouldn't be an alternate. Nobody had a conflict, did they, for that? Or you would have told us, correct, Lisa, Kyle? No conflicts. So that's that. Joseph Whalen, Class B variance request to cover existing concrete patio and steps with pressure treated deck and extend length of deck into front yard setback. Does anybody have any questions about that? You're muted, Kelly. Kelly, you're muted.
I have to take this phone call really quick, but I'm listening.
Okay, but are you all set on, Lisa, again, or we don't have any conflicts? For any
I
of
don't
you.
have
You
any
do?
conflicts with any of these.
Megan, do you have a conflict?
Yeah, Joe's my uncle. Should I not vote on that?
Joe's your uncle?
Yeah.
So how's that a conflict? TJ, are you ready, dude? Okay. We got that special crown and the chaps ready for him, don't we?
Ron?
Okay. So, Megan, you're going to recuse yourself because that's your uncle.
Okay.
And PJ, you're going to be doing that one as the alternate, okay?
Sure.
And I'm assuming that you've looked at it. That's good. Okay, so PJ.
Can I just add something to this, Ron, real quick?
What's that?
I'm just going to clarify something. On the plan, excuse me, it looks like it's it's not a front yard setback. It's a total side yard setback for the front porch. I can actually share the screen with the and I can explain it a little bit if you want to. Hold on one sec.
Oh, hold on. Let me get these in order here, Joseph. Yeah, okay, so is that, Kyle, is it correct that that says 40 feet back?
Yeah, it says 40 feet back, but that's the curb. It is 25 feet to the front of that where the old garage was. So
Right,
yeah, so
it's not front yard.
no, it's going to be.
It-
If you look
It's
over
that he,
sharing it, it's 7 and 17 total, but they are extending the porch and making that non-conforming. So it's making their non-conformance more non-conforming.
right, because they have 10 and 10 and they need 10 and 15.
Well,
How wide's the lot again?
they have 7 and 10 right now. The lot's,
Oh, I'm sorry,
yeah, the lot's 59.
59.
So they do have a deed of deficiency, but they're still 2.65 or 2.675 feet short for a total side yard.
For total.
Yes. They'll have,
Although, right, but you know what? Just so I understand then, the short side needs to be 7.87,
correct.
right?
Yep.
So actually, one way to look at it is that they're okay on the right side, and the 10-foot side is, what it's done is make the left side deficient.
Yeah, either way, it's a total side yard.
No, but, well, there is a little difference there. Because
Yeah, you're right.
they're not building it, it's making the pre-existing non-conforming left side
Non-conforming.
the same amount of non-conforming that it was, actually.
Mhm.
Right? It,
Right.
it actually has not changed the non-conformance in any way. Does that make sense to everybody or not? If because of the deficiency, Kyle, because of the deficiency, it's 7.87, whatever, 8 feet.
I'll put
Okay.
it back up.
But because of that, the edge of it's not going past the edge of the house. It's more of it, right? The 7.87 feet. I think what it's doing is the other side. So they're not going past the other house. Is my point. They're actually
Right.
staying within the same. They're staying within the same non-conformance. Still, I got you. That's okay. Okay, so that makes it even easier, correct?
Right.
And
Can we get-
we're gonna have.
I wanted to just point out that sheet that Kyle just had up, we had one of those, I think, last month. And I said that would be great to have that with our packet. I don't think it was in the packet, though.
No,
Yeah,
these were done the last 2 days.
Okay,
Getting prepared for the meeting.
okay.
Okay. Maria, but we're set on that. Otherwise, I don't have much of a question now that I understand it that way, frankly. Maria Hertel, where's South Acres Road in the city?
It's off of South Peru Street, across, kind of across from Liz Pearl's business.
From where?
Liz Pearl's business and the Housing Authority
Hey.
on South.
Okay.
It's a little dead end street that curls
Oh, yeah.
around towards the
Well, there's-
towards the park there.
yeah, but isn't there South Acres Road in the town also?
There's a South Acres trailer park.
Oh, okay. All right. So anyway, that is a special use permit for a fence that she's allowed to have, correct, Kyle?
Correct. And it's only
So,
a small portion.
and on that one, does anybody have conflict of any kind. Is this anybody's cousin? Friend. All right, so PJ, I guess you're gonna have to sit this one out. Does anybody have any questions about it? Okay. Catherine Grabda and Crystal Lewis, a Class B variance to use a portion of a building as a private fitness studio, two principal structures on a primary buildings on one lot. It's a private club. They're not having members. It's just that they want to use it as a gym, correct, Kyle? They're not open to the public, but it's a primary use. Does anybody have any conflict with this one? Okay. Anybody have questions about it or not understand it? Okay, so it'll be the five of us. PJ will get to glean our experience. 2232, I just decided, I guess we'll postpone that one. No. Okay, so 2232 Durkee Street. I've gone back and forth a little bit with some of you, and I've also talked to Corey a little bit. I think the intent, and I believe, and Corey can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that this is accurate, that the intent at this meeting, including as far as the applicant is concerned, would be to clarify the amount of commercial space that they're going to have in this project, according to the new plan, number one. Number two, discuss the parking in the south lot and control of that. And also, at least this is as far as the applicant is concerned, also to get any public comments, and we will be having a public hearing on it because it's advertised that way. And finally, have us ask, the board ask me, I guess, or ask, although I think it's the board doing this, that we can try and prepare our documents for voting for the next meeting, which would include the findings, not tonight, obviously, but that would include the findings and whatever motions we're going to have regarding the special use permits. So that came out of a couple conversations I had later in the day, or correspondences really. But what I would tell you is that, I think we have some issues. I'm a little concerned about making sure they talk about commercial space. I want to verify what's going to be the final application that we're going to use, the final plan rather, that we're going to use. I do want to talk to them a little bit more because it's been expressed to them a couple of times about this concept of not getting the entire parcel. They're either going to say yes or no to that or whatever, but at least I want to ask it once more. I want to briefly touch on the new proposed law, just to explain it and how that affects us. And maybe a slight discussion, just to clarify it in general for everybody, not just us, about what happened with the county, not necessarily in that order, but not big, long things. And I'm not up for rehashing a bunch of he said, she said, they did this, and who did what. I don't see that we're going to have any voting this evening, which is why, although Ellie is not here, she's going to either watch and not participate or be able to review everything on the tapes. So it's still going to be the same 5 people who have been carrying on this case for months doing it. Although you'll notice that we copy Megan and PJ, we copy you on everything to make sure you know what's going on. So, and people are going to be free to ask your questions, and we are going to have a public hearing. I was told that I could advertise a public hearing and then not hold it but I kind of just to get it done with, especially if we're going to talk about voting. I don't know as I'm going to close the public hearing, I'll tell you that much. Only because the last time I closed a public hearing, it triggered a 62-day timeline that I'm not sure, for whatever reason, that I want to trigger. So I don't see, doesn't mean we're necessarily going to have one next month, but or need to, but the public hearing is a concern because I don't want it to turn into 2.5 hours of the same stuff we've heard in every kind of written comment, public comment. I want it to be about this specific plan. And it's not about the council. It's not about the mayor. It's not about anything except the zoning board and these 2 special use permits. And if people start to go off or being critical of other people, that's not the place for this. That's not the point of this. I participated in a public hearing recently about that law. It got a little wild, but that's a whole different thing. That was talking to the counselors. So this is the zoning board people are talking to, and I think it's good that we're going to have a public hearing. The other, so that's an issue, and then the other one, of course, is going to be the timing of it. And I guess my particular feeling is that we've got a lot of work to do if we're going to talk about getting findings and regular documents ready to distribute before the next meeting. That meeting can't be in a week or 2 weeks. And so I am not, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I don't believe that we have a place right now for other special meetings. I think that we have a meeting tonight. Let's get all this done. We'll understand what's happening with the local law besides is an advantage. But aside from that, our next meeting, I'd like to get everything so we're set and verify that we have the most current plan and get ready for the November 16th meeting where hopefully we can vote. Go ahead, Kath.
One, I just want to make sure Corey's still with us because he seems a little frozen from my perspective. So I just didn't know if he had any input on what you've been saying, and he's still there, at least by audio.
Okay.
I don't know.
I can't understand.
I'm here.
What?
You're broken up.
I was saying, Corey is still with us.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, because his video is frozen. That's what I said. So I didn't know. I didn't know if he had any input on that. And my other question, or my other comment, I guess, was, when do we need to make public what the draft documents that we're going to be considering voting on to have them votable on the next meeting?
If we have draft documents that are going to be put up for approval, once they are ready in the form that they are proposed to be approved, we can have them posted to the website.
Is there any deadline for that in advance of the meeting, or just as long as it's before the meeting?
It's really as is practical.
You're frozen and Corey, you were frozen in time there for a second.
I'm going to disconnect from my VPN. Let me know if if it gets better.
Okay. I know I can't hear well, but I can hardly understand what anybody's saying. And Corey, you're freezing in motion.
Yeah, let me know if it improves. I disconnected from my VPN with the hope that that improves the internet connection. So let me know if you have any other problems with my video or audio.
Well, you're way behind. It's like staggered and.
Yeah, hopefully
You know,
it'll
like-
catch up in a second here because I just disconnected from the VPN.
Okay.
Let me know if it improves or if there's problems during the meeting, let me know.
Okay.
Is there any real driver for posting the draft findings well in advance? Because there's no public hearing about our portion, our findings, is there?
The requirement for posting resolutions that are going to be voted on comes from the open meetings law. So if it's practical for us to get them up on the website before the meeting, we'll do that. If they're in a form that we are going to be prepared to vote on them, we can get them posted.
Okay, so I don't think it's a bad idea. And I had sent out the oldest one, not the oldest, but the newest one I had from the end of June, at which point we then had the July meeting, informational meeting, and then a postponement in July with Prime because they weren't quite ready. And then we had August. I just want to familiarize everybody with that schedule after we'd start on those findings. Then in August, we had a new plan that was, people felt they didn't have time to review. Then in September, we reviewed that plan. And, we had that plan, but we postponed because we had the dispute about payment and the investigation. And then, but anyway, we voted to refer it, and then Prime changed the plan that we saw in September on the 25th, and that was what was submitted to the county, which is this plan that we see now. So right now, as far as I'm concerned, one of the main issues tonight is to say, is this going to be the final plan? How many square feet of commercial space? How many apartments? Is this what you want us to vote on? Because there's been a moving target. We need to, and part of it's Prime responding to questions and concerns, and part of it was them changing setbacks, but then we went back and forth about commercial space and so on. So I just want to know that this is it, and then we can prepare findings based on this and based on what they're asking for parking, etc. So other than that, I think that this tonight really is a calm fact-finding mission with Prime to verify for sure what we're going to be considering finally. And then we will work over the next, by email, over the next few weeks to get a findings done. And then I suppose that if we know what the plan is, we can create a resolution that can be voted on for both SUPs, whether it's approved or disapproved is the issue. But Corey, I'm assuming we would do a positive motion, correct?
Yes.
For the SUPs.
Yeah, I mean, even in times where a motion fails, I always like for there to be an affirmative motion. So if a motion to approve failed, I would then ask for someone to make a motion to deny or vice versa.
Right, okay. All right, so I think that I also want to make sure the public has some time to speak, and I want to control that, though, not in the same way as they do at at the council necessarily, but I don't want to have 2 hours of public comments. And so I'm going to ask people to limit it to 3 minutes. And we'll see how many we get. I don't know how many are going to be in the room or not, so we'll find out. And we absolutely will not put up with, nobody else should be chatting with us on our chat line. So if we have to, the other thing is, other than us chatting with each other, we are not going to be chatting with Lisa to give our votes. So we don't have to worry about that, correct? It's not like we need the chat feature to vote yes or no on, we might, I'm sorry, I take that back, on Prime. But on the others, we're going to need it. We're going to need it for approving all or disapproving, whatever we do, these other applications, so we are gonna need that feature. Anything, you're gonna have to just control it. And we'll just have to, if people get on, we'll just disregard them and turn it off when we don't need it. I guess, right? Does anybody have an issue? You absolutely can't control that, Ethan?
You can to a degree. I just wanted to clarify before the meeting, when I discussed what would happen in the case of if I couldn't control it fast enough.
Okay. Okay. Anybody have any other questions before we sign out and go to the other meeting? Any suggestions, questions, Corey, anybody? No? All right. PJ, have you voted on anything yet? You did last time, right? You're muted, but that's okay. Good. All right. So I guess we'll go to the other meeting if nobody has anything else. Kathy? You all set? Okay, everyone. I'll see you at the other meeting.